Next on Belmont Park Live, ready to escape hopes for a better outcome after a productive run at Saratoga. Can he break through in his Belmont Park debut? In our feature race, a multiple graded stakes winner on dirt. He collects his second win on the turf as March drops in class, trying to get a win for Jonathan Thomas. Profiteer is standing in his way, who's on his way to becoming a Belmont turf specialist. He seeks a third turf win in 4 starts at Belmont as he comes out of Grade 1 company. All that, much more coming up on this Thursday edition of Belmont Park Live. It is brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Good to have you with us on this Thursday afternoon here in Belmont, New York. We have the late pick 4 coming up in just a few moments. Welcome to everyone watching on MSG+. Greg Wolf alongside former New York Met, LA Dodger, Paul LaDuca, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Our feature race, it's going to be on a yielding turf course coming up, and March has the inside post there for Jonathan Thomas. Multiple graded stakes winner on dirt, now trying to collect his second victory on grass. Yeah, and he's 6 years old now, and it's going to be the first time he's ever going to be gelded, or he's going to run first time gelding, and he comes in.
It only happens once.
Yeah, I know, right? and he comes in with the bullet drill, and I'm wondering today, Andy, if they try to send him to the lead. Now, this is a yielding turf course today. He's had one race over it, and one of his foes that he will battle today, Black Type, did beat him. In his other race over a tiny bit of yielding ground, he ran okay.
This is him winning the Woody Stevens, the 3-year-old, on the same day that American Pharaoh won the Triple Crown at Belmont Park. He's just an unusual horse. He's actually a head away from being a Grade 1 winner on turf. And then Chad Brown just basically realized, because Chad Brown originally had him, that as good as he was in the dirt, he wasn't as good ultimately as this horse named Run Happy, who turned out to be the best.
He was a lower price than Run Happy in the King's Bishop.
It's amazing, right? And I think Chad rightfully realized he wouldn't class up with those horses, and as well as he'd run the dirt, turf was the best surface for him to be a top horse, but he obviously has a lot of issues.
Get signed up, get started, play along. $200 new member bonus when you use that promo code Belmont Live, and you can get down on this pick 4 coming up. Race 6 will kick off our sequence this afternoon. That's on the main track, the 7th race. Maiden special weight, where we're going to see Ready to Escape for Charlie Baker and see if he can break through that 8th race. Our feature on that yielding inner turf. We close things out on a race taken off the turf. Race 9, New York bred 40 maiden claiming event. Weather and track conditions, they're presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone, main track fast. Turf for that 8th race, the race that remains on the grass, listed as yielding again in the 9th. They are off the turf. All right, so this starts off the pick 4 right here. $16,000 claiming event, 3/4 of a mile missile bomb right now. The one to beat, who is 4 for 4 at Belmont Park. Going to check in with the 4th member of our crew right now. That is Maggie Wolfendale. This Paddock Report brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
Riders up here in the paddock as horses are heading out, and I'll begin actually with the rail runner. That is number 1, Wrong Ben, who does drop back into this spot once again. Was the scene of one of his last wins, though now he is out of conditions, but he's going to be a bit of a price here, and his last 2 consecutive races have been on wet, sloppy tracks. He doesn't like them very much, as he'll get back to a fast one here. And yes, he is a type that kind of needs the lead, but I'm hoping that Jose Lascano is aggressive with this guy. For trainer Mark Henning from the rail, seems to be a good place to be, and he looks great relative to his competition. Obviously, he's going to have to deal with Too Fast to Pass. Next, we'll actually check in with No Distortion, returning to the main track. I like that for him, for a pretty powerful duo of Robert Amendola and Patrick Reynolds. Did get a little bit wound up while saddling, but that's okay. He since has settled down, and this is the right spot for him if he can get to some of his back class that he possesses. Number 7 is Joy Drive, and Jeremiah Engelhart will send this guy out for the 2nd time, kind of second off a layoff, and physically he looks extremely fit here. Got a little bit warm, and those front bandages go on after stopping pretty badly around the turn in that return race on September 3rd. So kind of proceeding with caution with that guy. But one that proceeded to the racetrack at a bit of an odd time is is Mendelssohn. He actually just galloped around the training track a few moments ago, about 5 minutes ago, after clearing quarantine. Aidan O'Brien wanting to get him to the racetrack immediately as soon as he was able to do so. We saw him gallop about 1.5 miles behind that kind of stablemate, and that's typically what they do with this horse. He's the one usually following. He always gets warm and washy, as you kind of see him doing so. The problem is that he never switched leads. He stayed on that outside lead the entire way around there. That is typical sometimes of a European horse too. He was going a bit slower. A lot of times when horses are going a bit slower, they often don't want to switch leads, but we'll see. It was his first gallop here back in the States. Greg, we'll get it to you for a post parade.
Maggie, thanks. So a little bit lathered up, but as Maggie says, that's normal protocol for Mendelssohn, who ran much better than most expected in the Travers. As we see our post parade here, here's Wrong Ben, Jose Lezcano, Mark Hennig.
Drew the right post in the track that's been very kind of speed. He has speed, but there's a lot of speed in this race.
King Kranz, 36-1, had back-to-back wins earlier this year at Aqueduct.
His form has completely eluded him in recent starts.
All right. John Toscano Jr., and a young man who's already won today, Joey Martinez.
Yeah, Joey Martinez wired a field earlier today, and this horse has got some speed and a big drop in class for John Toscano.
7-1 on No Distortion. Patrick Reynolds, Dylan Davis aboard.
My top choice. He's dirtied up by a turf race and a dead rail at Saratoga. He can beat this field at a square price.
Too fast to pass. He is quick and certainly helps that the 2 taken out of the race as well to help his cause.
Yes, an old California horse via Florida. Used to be in the Peter Miller barn. Still has the speed. He just doesn't have the stick that much anymore.
Joy Drive at 9-2. Jeremiah Engelhart coming off a 6th-place performance at Saratoga.
Second time for Jeremiah after a disappointing effort against Tougher last time out.
Missile Bomb. And this horse undefeated in 4 starts here at Belmont.
Yeah, and speed is his weapon. Been hot at the claiming box 4 times in a row. The son of Tail of the Cat. Now the Marat team will team up here. Colin, the trainer, Rajiv riding.
Yeah, and this horse taking play. 10-1 morning line on Halloween Horror. Gary Contessa, Luis Saez.
He's a horse who could take advantage of a fast pace as he looks to get back to what was once very good form.
$118,000 in the pick 4 pools. We approach the 5-minute mark to post this race 6. Kicks it all off in just a moment. Let's get back to Mendelssohn for just a moment, who we saw on the training track just moments ago. Ran so much better than what most were thinking in that Travers after he really disappointed in the Dwyer here at Belmont.
Well, it was a race where the pace really held together. Now, part of it is because Catholic Boy was the best horse in the race. But he did. You're right, Greg. He showed that he can run a creditable race. The problem for him in this race is not only is the competition much steeper, especially because of the presence of Diversify, but Diversify is a very fast speed horse. And is he going to really be able to take it to that horse, somehow put Diversify away, and then hold off closers like Gronkowski? I want to see it to believe it.
Yeah, you want to try and take it to that horse, Paul? That seems like a very tough, tall order.
I know he's Paul's favorite horse.
He's going to have to deal with Diversify to begin this race, and I have a feeling that Tricky Creek is going to kick in the last half mile, and he's going to be off the board.
Yeah, out of a Tricky Creek mare is what you're referencing there. That's not.
So that's the deciding factor, the Tricky Creek mare. That's what it's been all along, Paul.
My issue is with the horse is he ran a good second, and he reminds me a tiny bit of Gronkowski's second in the Belmont, although I think Gronkowski's a better horse. He just had fresh legs when it came to the Travers. Bravazzo's an average horse. We'll see him run, but Catholic Boy was much the best. I'll give him a lot of credit. He did improve last time out, but then he's got to deal with a monster and Diversify in the front end.
What do you think about this, Andy? The day that he did run that credible second in the Travers, it was a very good effort. It was a bounce-back effort, but it was a day where speed was doing really well at Saratoga. Also, did that benefit him a lot?
Oh, yeah, I think it absolutely did. And let's be honest, who really ran behind them? And part of it may have been the racetrack, and maybe they weren't good enough, but Good Magic had the wrong trip and didn't run. And listen, I don't want to knock Mendelssohn. He's run some nice races, and his Travers was a solid effort. You don't want to be too hard on him. But the prospect of him somehow dealing with Diversify, somehow putting that one away and then holding off the others, it just seems pretty unlikely.
Yeah. Diversify is just not a slouch.
He can only lose Diversify. He can only not run his race.
That's true.
If he runs his race, he's just too good for these horses.
Let's not forget, this is one of the best trainers in the history of our sport. got him to improve a lot in that Travers. He's done a tremendous job with what he's done with Diversify. He's done a tremendous job. But Aiden O'Brien, of course, with Mendelssohn. You're kidding. But
he's a great trainer in Europe. His numbers in America are not the numbers of a great trainer. Now, that's not wholly his fault, but I think it's fair to point out.
He's won some big races here.
He has, but he's also bombed in a big way.
On turf, not dirt. Listen, the closest he got was with Declaration of War. What did Declaration of War have? A Kentucky pedigree. What does Mendelssohn have? A Kentucky pedigree. Beholder, into Mischief. So I do think maybe, but they've decided they're going to retire him after this year. I think he's going to be better as a 4-year-old, but we'll see what happens.
He will be in the field.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's coming up on
you
Saturday.
And I wish we were doing.
Jockey Club Gold Cup. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have it here for you this weekend as we take a look at late pick 4 from Paul LaDuca. You're getting some coverage in this first leg.
Well, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm with Andy, though. I think the 5 No Distortion will improve a lot in here. I did not use the 9 who's taking money Halloween horror. The 5 Ready to Escape is going to be tough to beat for Charlie Baker, I thought. But you can go with some other horses in there. But I decided to single there. I think 3, 6 in race number 8, then 2, 5, 7, and 10 in race number 9 to close it out.
Let's go back and take a look here at the 5. Patrick Reynolds, Robert Amendola, you've all summer long ingrained this in me. These connections are always dangerous when they have a horse lining
They
up.
are sharp, but I think there's a lot to like aside from sharp connections, who I do respect. Because if you look at this horse, now, let's be fair. He ran good form out of town for Tom Amoss and other trainers. Tom only had him for a couple of starts. I don't know if he can he can't win because all 3 of us pick him, so just pitch him. But having said that, his form out of town was good enough to win this race. Now, that's out-of-town form. But when he ran in Saratoga on August 5th, I don't think he ran badly. He was right down buried on a dead rail. That was the day that every horse was being effective, making big outside runs. And then they ran him on the turf off the claim. Well, that's not his surface. And now he's back in the right surface. And I also think he's in a field where there's nothing but vulnerable horses. Too Fast to Pass is coming off, a very soft field and a controlling race on a speed-favoring track. Missile Bomb does not get a particularly positive trainer change, and he's been a very fortunate horse in his races. So I think there's a lot of very suspect runners in the field as well.
6-1 right at his morning line. With more on No Distortion, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And wow, that's a lot of pressure on No Distortion here. But each time I look at this horse, every time that my eye kind of keeps going back to him, he impresses me. Now, in regards to kind of getting back to the 6 furlongs here on the main track, obviously the site of his last win was doing just this. He is sharp here. Looks as though Pat Reynolds has him ready to go. And I really love the way, guys, that he moved over this track. For me, he got the A+ marks as far as warm-ups were concerned.
On Saturday.
All right, so passes the eye test from Maggie. And with that, look at the power of Maggie Wolfendale from 6-1 to 9-2.
I'm surprised he didn't go to 12-1 after every one of us picked him on top in his race. They probably just don't know if they knew.
Well, and hoping here, look, that last time he was on dirt, uncharacteristically, he was on the front end.
Well, he was also on a dead rail. Yeah, that was a bit surprising, too, in that race as well. That was an odd race where, on paper, it really didn't appear to have much pace, and I think it ended up having more pace than people expected, because going into it, there was really no speed on paper. There's more speed in paper in this race.
Yeah, there is a lot of speed on paper in this race. And, you know, claiming the 5-2 back, taking a shot on the turf wasn't bad. I understand maybe that was not a surface, but his other turf effort was not bad. And they could have gambled and go, okay, now we can go back to sprinting where he's done some good work. I know it was at Prairie Meadows. I know it was at Thistle Downs, but he can come from a tiny bit off the pace.
He's got to bring that form from out of town to New York and run well here. It's always a question mark, you know, and he's been in some sharp hands, Carl Broberg and Tom Amoss as well. Yeah. And, you know, we'll see. I mean, I like him in the 5-6-1 range. I don't love him. I don't think he has to win this race.
No, he's just, how far back is he going to be? But he's going to use his kick. There is, like Andy said, there is a ton of speed in here.
Yeah,
that horse.
There was on paper.
On paper, yeah.
So we've seen too many of those races where nobody goes.
8-horse Missile Bomb. He's never lost in 4 starts here at Belmont. Let's send it upstairs. Larry Colmus to kick off the late pick 4 from Belmont.
And they're all in line. They're off. Too Fast to Pass came out quickly, sent through his Wrong Bend from the inside. Missile Bomb away running in third. Halloween Horror is fourth, and King Kranz on the inside. Joy Drive is next. At the back are No Distortion and All Right as they head for the turn. Wrong Ben is taking the lead here on top by a neck over Too Fast to Pass through an opening quarter mile in 22.33 seconds. Missile Bomb is just outside of them, running in third by a length and a half. King Kranz, Joy Drive together with Halloween Horror outside of them. And then it's No Distortion, who's got 5 lengths to make up and is clear of All Right, arriving at the quarter pole. Wrong Ben on the inside, Too Fast to Pass, Missile Bomb outside of them. 45.39 the half. These three turn for home. With Wrong Ben still there, getting a bit of daylight here. It's almost a 2-length lead as they come to the 8th pole. And then it's Missile Bomb, Too Fast to Pass, and Joy Drive, followed by No Distortion. Jose Lezcano and Wrong Ben have it as they come down to the wire. Wrong Ben at 13-1, scores by 2. Missile Bomb was second, Too Fast to Pass third, and Joy Drive fourth.
Speed from the inside. Some of the other speed did not go with Wrong Ben, and at a price 13-1. Collects the 4th win of his career.
On paper, 13-1's an underlay, but credit Jose Lezcano. It was speed on paper. He rode faster than the other ones did early. The 4-horse and other speed got left in this race, took that speed out. But around here, one guy wants it, the rest don't. Pace was okay for these horses, but inside speed has been, inside especially, close to unbeatable for much of this meet.
I mean, it's been like 2 weeks, and I just don't get it. If you get to the front end, you got a big shot, and everybody keeps on grabbing in a race that looks full of speed. Lezcano didn't have to cut out that fraction. He won the race in the second quarter. He was able to get away with 23, and these type of horses that like to win races, they're just gone. You're not going to be, there's no passing zone when you're allowed to go that slow. This racetrack is playing very fast. It's like the 4th gate-to-wire winner.
And these are some good horses that have a nose for the wire right behind a Missile Bomb. 6 for 18 lifetime, 4 for 4 here at Belmont, had never lost. Too Fast to Pass the 6. 15-time winner, just $450,000 in earnings. But you get to the front, hard to make up ground.
And especially you get to the rail.
The problem is you got a horse like Too Fast for Pass. He's 8 now. He's never passed a horse, and he's 8. It's not going to happen again.
1, 8, 6, 7, 13-1. That might play even bigger than that here in this late pick for Wrong Ben. The win will be back.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast, a multiple Grade 1 winner and runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. This year, Flatter is adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record at stud. In the auction ring, Flatter topped the 2018 Phasing-Tipton July sale with a $520,000 yearly. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live, and a little bit of a head scratcher, tough one to come up with here, but did have speed, did have the inside post. The other speed just didn't go with his horse. Jose Lezcano takes advantage, gets the win for trainer Mark Hennig.
Maybe it's the dry racetrack. This horse has not liked the rain at all. 4 for 7 now, lifetime over fast racetracks. The son of Here Comes Ben out of the E. Dubai mare, right on it. And Jose Lezcano was right on it, sending this horse right to the front end. And that double comes back pretty good, $68, considering the horse before that was 3 to 5.
$28.20. Let's go downstairs. Maggie Wolfendale standing by with a winning trainer.
Well, guys, I wasn't scratching my head. I knew that Wrong Ben from that inside post on a dry track, Mark. He took advantage of it. Good ride by Jose Lezcano as well.
Well, it was. I was glad Jose listened to you.
I didn't quite put him on top. That's what I'm kicking myself about.
He heard the instructions.
Yes. And a horse that, when he's at this level, is very competitive.
He is. He can run some fast races, you know, and he's had a little bit of tough luck with the weather. You know, we brought him up to Saratoga to run, and it turned out muddy there. You know, and we've gotten him in a couple of those muddy spots where he probably would have been better off not running.
Well, Mark, you also had a pretty exciting start to September as far as down at Keeneland. You and Cortland Farms, you bought a lot of babies, a lot of yearlings.
We did. Mr. Adam was in a shopping mood, and we were very happy about it. I mean, we go down there, and he wants us to provide a short list. Rosemary, myself, and Ernie Redamosa there at the farm, and the farm manager, we get together and we came up with the short list. But you know, he comes and he does all the bidding himself, so he was really in a buying mood.
I saw Rosemary, your wife's tweet, and what did you get? 16 hips?
16 for Cortland. Yes.
Well, Mark, wishing you the best of luck with those babies. Exciting times ahead. Congrats, though, on the win today.
Thanks, Maggie.
All right, Wrong Ben. He was all right today, Greg.
All or nothing with this horse. He's 3 for 10 lifetime.
Yeah.
When he's not won, he has been nowhere. And I mean nowhere.
Well, your point, Paul, is well taken. He's a horse that's obviously better on a dry track.
Yes.
But you have to be honest. If he didn't draw the rail in this race and he'd been chasing 4 wide, he wasn't going to win. This rail is carrying horses.
No, you look at his PPs, all 4 of his wins now, he's had the lead open lengths by a half, 1 length, and 5 lengths at the top of the lane. When he's not pressured, he's a dangerous horse. When he is pressured, he wilts. But hey, he's brought over $90,000 to the table for the owners, so congratulations.
Race 7, 6 furlongs. It's New York Breds in a maiden special weight, ready to escape. Is 3 to 5 right now and making his 4th career start for Charlie Baker.
I don't think he should even really be favored over the 4 horses. Mark Hennig looks to win back-to-back with Bourbon and Rye.
You know, I singled this horse in my pick 4 that's now dead.
Join the club.
Yeah. But there's no way this horse, first of all, should be 3 to 5, and I'll tell you why. This horse is broken flat-footed 3 straight times. And if it happens again today, there's no way this horse can be able to circle this field on this racetrack. Or he's going to have to be 5 to 6 lengths at best.
He's going to have to hope that Bourbon and Rye doesn't run as well as he did in his debut to win this race. Because Bourbon and Rye gets loose here, over.
Still to come. Whitney winner, Diversify, looking for a 4th consecutive victory. And, of course, Gronkowski. Can he follow up what he did in the Belmont, do it one better? We'll be back.
How do New York Breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York-sired New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a 2nd time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close 2nd in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York Breds, get with the program.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Diversify holding on to the lead. Keen Ice on the outside, and Pavel trying to run him down. Diversify digs in. Keen Ice on the outside, and Pavel can't get him. Diversify has won the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Well, that was Diversify's true coming out party. The most important victory of his career. Broke through with the first grade 1 of his career. Then all of a sudden, beginning of this year, we thought he was done after the Charlestown Classic, finished dead last. No, that turned out not to be the case. He has reeled off 3 consecutive victories, got a little confidence builder against State Bred Company, and he's won back-to-back graded stakes.
I'm going to tell you something. The Whitney is really one of the biggest races of the year to win that. But his win in the Suburban was jaw-dropping. I mean, to go 46 and change in a mile and a quarter, race that starts in the turn at Belmont Park is absolutely flying. That was one of the most dominating big race performances I've seen in years.
Let's go through this field top to bottom. Coming up this Saturday, Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup, and here is long shot Carlino for Mark Hennig. Jose Lezcano will ride coming off a win.
You know, they put blinkers on this horse the last 4 starts, and he finally put it all together at a 1.125 at Saratoga. And if you look way back in July 21st, 2017, around 2 turns, going to 1.125 at Saratoga, he ran a bang-up second. So I think just going around 2 turns in general helps him.
Gronkowski, Estate's debut in the Belmont, was eye-catching as he tried to run down Justify.
Got ranked last time when they tried to ride him early to get him into the race. Think you're going to have to let him drop back and find his own rhythm. The question is, will he get enough pace in this race? Because Diversify is able to control up front. He's not going to catch him, but he, to me, is the biggest threat to the favorite.
We just saw Mendelssohn on track a little while ago, and Aiden O'Brien got him to run a lot better in the Travers.
Well, if he keeps on improving, he could be a factor here. The only thing is the main contender in here probably has more speed than he does. We'll see if Mendelssohn will be able to rate behind the fast Diversify.
The one-eyed wonder, Patch. He won his first start of his 4-year-old campaign. Of course, 3rd last year's Belmont Stakes. He'll need better than what he showed in the woodwork.
Yeah, he's just never really run a race that makes him any better than an extreme fringe player in this race. You have to think the connections are hoping for a suck-up 3rd or 4th at best.
Uno Mas Modelo. He is 30-1 on the morning line for Anthony Quartarolo, coming off back-to-back with 3 straight wins, I should say, and this is a massive step up in class.
Not only is this a massive step up in class, this horse has gone around 2 turns 3 times in his career and has not been successful. This is a giant hurdle.
Meanwhile, the defending champ in the race, he is 6 for 8 at Belmont. He becomes an even better horse when it comes to Big Sandy.
He breaks sharply. The others are going to have to be under a drive to run with him early. If he runs his race, everybody is running for second.
4 to 5 morning line. Rad Ortiz Jr. will be back aboard as he looks for a 4th consecutive victory, 3rd consecutive graded stakes win. Discreet Lover, another long shot here to the outside, who of course was 3rd behind Diversify in the Grade 1 Whitney.
Yeah, and I thought he got maybe ridden a little bit too much forwardly placed last time out. Look for him to sit back, and he ran his best race in the Whitney. He might have bounced a little bit in the Woodward. Don't forget about him at a giant price. Again, I don't think he can win the race, but he likes to run good 2nds and 3rds.
And Thunder Snow back to dirt after he had that stakes record in the Dubai World Cup. It set up well for him that day.
Yeah, the Dubai World Cup was on a track, very kind inside speed. Much like this one, he's not clearing the lead in this race. Less Diversify completely fails to break. They got to take a shot and see if he's the kind of horse that can duplicate that Dubai performance in the big race in the U.S. I doubt it happens, but they have to take the chance.
Intriguing field, but it's goes through Diversify. Not only is he the horse to beat, I mean, this is his home track.
Yeah, it is his home track, and he loves it here, but he's going to have to fight off Mendelssohn, and he's going to have to fight off some of the closers in here, but I don't know how much the quality of the closers are. We'll see how good Mendelssohn really is.
I mean, Diversify is in a position to put himself in the company of the best New York breds we've ever seen, and that includes some very good horses like Commentator and Funny Side, just to name a couple of them. But Diversify, he's very, very close to etching his name in the leader of that group.
We're going to step aside for a short timeout. 7th race is coming up, ready to escape. We all think opportunity to beat an odds-on favorite right now. He is still 4 to 5 in here for Charlie Baker. Joel Rosario will be aboard. We'll have a Paddock report and our post-parade coming up when we return here on Belmont Park Live. Stay with us.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb was the leading freshman sale sire of weanlings, yearlings, and 2-year-olds. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including stakes winners Autumn Warrior and Orvolution, stakes performer Scrapper, and TDN Rising Star Explorer. In the sales ring, his progeny continue to sell well beyond his stud fee, including the $1 million co-sale topper at Saratoga, Classic Winner, Classic Pedigree, or Standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's a glorious day for racing as you are watching Belmont Park live. Race number 7, well, they are saddled here in the paddock as it is maiden special weight time for these 3-year-old New York breds, and we're going the 6 furlongs. And of course, this is a Paddock Report brought to you by Hillendale Farm, and Charlie Baker will send out 2 in here, and we'll begin with his horse that is second off of a layoff in number 5, Ready to Escape. Ran, okay for purse money only last time out, and just kind of looked like a horse that would need a race. He is that type too, in that he's a heavier, stocky, very compact type of individual that here today, having that race under his belt at Saratoga, does look that much more fit. I'm always wondering, though, because he has that physical presence about him, will he ever show some more speed, kind of like he did back on his April 11th race? I think will be more what we see from him here today. Now, Charlie will also send out a bigger priced horse, and number 1, Encryption Key from the rail. This guy returns as a new gelding and gets on the main track for the first time. Data Link is a son of Warfront. They can be pretty versatile as well, and while there wasn't much production on the dam side, what they were proficient at, relatively speaking, was sprinting on the dirt. So I'm actually okay. It's not like this guy has that overwhelming proverbial turf hoof to him. Yeah, physically, he might be a little more turf meant, but then again, he comes in here, he looks extremely fit for Charlie. Looks as though kind of gelding him has made him a bit more streamlined. He isn't necessarily behaving any better. He is very sharp in here, so keep an eye on him, or I'll keep an eye on him and how he warms up here, because he's caused a little bit of a ruckus down here in the paddock thus far. But I think he's a bit of an intriguing character coming back off the layoff. And one making his second start is number 4, Bourbon and Rye for Mark Hennig. Last time out, He was a professional. He didn't turn a hair wrong. He looked good, but boy, he comes back in here. He knows what's about to happen. He's so much more sharp. They've been keeping him in the bag. He's been on the muscle, on his toes, and two, coming out of that race in which he eventually kind of tired after attending that pace a bit, going the 6.5, he looks stronger. So he's really done everything you want with a second-time starter, and I think he could have something to say about this race, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thanks. 10 minutes away from the start of this race. We have 4 horses coming out of the same race back on August the 30th. Bourbon and Rye, the 4 horse ready to escape, our favorite. 2 of them, Unsullied, Legion Storm in that race as well. It was Bourbon and Rye who was leading the way early on.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the one you want out of this race because that was a pace. It wasn't that quick on paper, but it just completely fell apart, and the others took advantage of it. To me, he's in controlling speed on paper here in a track that's been very kind to that kind of runner, and it's just a completely different pace scenario because the speeds of this race are not running today, and frankly, what was so impressive about Ready to Escape's performance? Maybe he improved second off a layoff, but...
And I didn't even... I mean, you go back, it's the comment line says slow start. The start was not that bad.
He didn't break badly in there at all. I thought he just... Yeah. I just thought that he just had no speed, and they were flying up front. I agree with you, Greg. The horse that had trouble at the start was Unsullied, the 2 in today's race. He broke a little bit slowly and dropped well back.
Got bumped bad.
I mean, I'm not saying that Bourbon Rye has to win this race, but to me, he's the one you're supposed to want from that race.
Well, this is a look at the 6-5 favorite that the public going with right now for Charlie Baker. So we'll see. This is his first start here at Belmont. And obviously, you could improve as you make your 4th career start and get along a little later in the area. Here's Unsullied, and this is a horse, Paul, who I think, yeah, as Andy said, took kind of more difficult beginning out of that race. He got bumped pretty hard by another horse. He wound up running 4th. It looks like he's going to want some pace help up front.
Well, I think it could be the other way around because if you look at his first race, he showed a little bit of lick. They went 109 and change, right? So now they try him on the turf course. He doesn't show much speed off the claim. Now they put blinkers on him last time out, and he got off slowly. If he can break a little bit faster, I would think he's going to be up a little bit closer than he was last time.
I agree with that.
He made a better... that was a pretty good run fourth in that race.
Let me just say it to you this way. Why is he 7-1 and the 5 Ready to Escape 8-5 or 6-5 based in their last races? Based in their last races, I mean, one of them had trouble, and they both took advantage of a collapsing pace, but one of them had trouble and lost by a length and change to the other horse. It just doesn't, 3/4 of a length. To me, it just doesn't, it's just the wrong odds. It means either the 2 is an overlay or the 5 is an underlay, or both.
2's an overlay.
Yeah.
Thumps.
I'm with you.
Thumps Racing
Now,
Stable.
to be fair, Ready to Escape the 5 has a fast figure 2 back and is second off a layoff and could improve and get back to better numbers. So I don't want to say this horse can't win. What we're saying is based on that last race, 6-5 is a low price. But the price is partly based on his prior form as well, to be fair.
7 minutes to post. Our post parade coming up next. Get signed up, get started, play along with Naira Bets. There's a $200 new member bonus when you use that promo code. Belmont Live, you'll be able to bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets as the horses make their way through the tunnel here. I thought actually Charlie Baker had a more interesting horse potentially on the rail in Encryption Key, the 1, who's 15-1 right now.
Well, it's actually more of a dirt family on the dam side. Now you've got Data Link and Warfront, so they figured more turf. But, I mean, it's an unknown at a big price. Who knows?
You know, the works were good on turf. The horse didn't get dismissed in an 11 and 12 horse field, okay, and as a first-time gelding today. So I'm wondering if the works in the morning got this horse bet in the afternoon. So maybe
I didn't look it up.
Like the dirt.
This horse must have had a trip or something happened the first start to only be 4-1 in his next start. I probably loved him last time. He looks like the kind of horse I loved. 4-1, ran 8th.
And, I mean, he's got a couple of drills that make you think he can run on the dirt,
or
including a bullet drill.
Or it's a prep. He wanted to make sure the race went for the other horse, and it's a prep for him to get back on the turf.
Here he is, Dylan Davis, Charlie Baker, and first try on dirt and first start of his 3-year-old campaign.
I think we covered it. He's trying the dirt for the first time off a layoff.
Unsullied. Bumped hard out of the break last time out for Patrick Quick. Jose Lezcano.
Yeah, I think a horse that's going to show a little bit more speed with a better break today for Thumps with 2 M's Racing Stable.
Here's Tenancy. He should be close to the pace for Chris Englehart.
Yeah, his last race wasn't very good. It was a moderate pace that held together, but he's not impossible.
Bourbon and Rye. There's the 4-horse, and he's the one that we expect to be leading the way for Mark Hennig with Javier Castellano.
Mark Hennig had one that was working at Monmouth Park, just win the last race, Wrong Ben. Bourbon Rye was working at Monmouth Park before his debut and has a work here at Belmont.
Ready to escape, still the 6-5 favorite. He was 5 wide around that turn in that last start.
He's being bet off his race 2 back. Off his last race, he's overbet. He did not run that well. He had a very favorable setup.
Legion Storm, 8-1. Kieran McLaughlin, the 6.
I think this horse has got to look. I know getting completely dismissed, but his first start was good. His second start's confusing. I think he's going to run better today.
And first-time starter, Covensburg for David Canizzo with Eric Consell.
Does not have a lot of pedigree to speak of and is taking no money.
We're going to take a break in the action. Can Bourbon and Rye, second time out for trainer Mark Hennig. Take him gate to wire. Here in the 7th coming up from Belmont. He's the second choice on the board here. 2-1 with Javier Castellano. We'll have the 7th when we come back on Belmont Park Live.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole. But Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. He has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Ellis. Good Magic's going to win his first race, and he's going to do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Welcome back. You're watching Belmont Park Live here as horses are getting their warm-ups out on the track with 2 minutes to go here to race number 7. And I got a chance to catch up with trainer Charlie Baker. And Charlie, and I wanted to ask him about the 1 encryption key. And going back to last year, he said, you know, this horse was working very, very well on the main track, but just because he was by data link, they thought, well, he must be turf. Well, Charlie says that he's still working very well on the main track, and that is what has led them to put him on the dirt here today. And I gotta say, reading between the lines a little bit while talking to Charlie, it felt as though he was fairly high on this horse, guys, and he thought that he might actually show a bit of speed from that rail position as well, and obviously that could help his chances, though he doesn't have the most aggressive rider, though Dylan can be aggressive when he wants to be. And then number 6 is Legion Storm, a horse that I picked last time, and he was disappointing. I mean, maybe you could use the excuse of kind of chasing wide, but still, I just thought that he was utterly disappointing. Again, physically he looks great, but he might just be one of those horses that looks good, but doesn't really seal the deal, Greg.
Thank you, Maggie. 7-1 on Legion Storm, and we would call that, I guess, from this barn, who was 7-2 Morning Lion, this horse definitely DOB. No?
Yeah, a little bit. But my thing about the reason why the horse maybe is DOB is because Kieran sticks blinkers on the horse, second start, nothing really happens, and he got beaten by a couple of these horses. But if you draw a line through that last start, he's a player in here because he ran a good third, I thought, in his debut. So maybe he likes Belmont. Maybe he didn't like Saratoga. So
But his first race wasn't really very good either. He was just kind of picking up pieces, to be honest.
But he did steady a tiny bit at the start. It wasn't awful, but
I mean, it just seems like last time he had the right setup. I don't know if Junior didn't think he had much horse in the stretch.
Sure.
Listen, I'm not going to say he can't win this race. He's not that far out of it. But to me, either the 4 is going to wire the field or Ray Escape will probably win.
Well, after Saratoga for Tennessee, the 3-horse who was just in your screen, went to Finger Lakes, where he has been working for Chris Engelhardt. We'll see how close he's going to be the pace here with Irad Ortiz Jr.
And he went to Finger Lakes. He could be going back there.
Potentially, if it doesn't work out today. He is
And then returning
7-1
for the
on board.
winter.
Even money.
wow.
On Ready to Escape, who we all agree that price is just way too short.
I think it is. I think it's too short.
It's too short. And
Can
the
win.
other part about it is, like, again, I know that you guys say that he didn't break that slow. He's got to break a little bit better to beat this field.
I'm intrigued by that other Charlie Baker runner. We'll see what happens, if he can be close to the pace.
The 6 is a ridiculous price.
Yeah, that's too big on Legion Storm as well at 7-1. What will happen here? Race 7 coming up. Even money favorite. Ready to Escape for Charlie Baker, the 5-horse. Career start number 4. Most thinking today the day. We do not agree. Let's send it upstairs for the voice of New York Racing for the call from race 7, Larry Colmus.
And here comes Tennessee up to the starting gate. Will be followed into line by Bourbon and Rye, who is the 5-2 second choice behind Ready to Escape, who has now gone down to 4-5 on the tote board. And the last 2 in are Legion Storm and Cavensburg. Legion Storm moving in, and here's Cavensburg coming up to the outside stall. The long shot here comes forward and goes in. They're all in line. They're off. And Ready to Escape escaped last from the gate with Tennessee to the front. And rushing through is Encryption Key on the inside to challenge Tennessee. And Encryption Key gets the rail and the lead, with Bourbon and Rye sitting back and running along in third. There goes Ready to Escape after that tardy beginning, going up on the outside of Legion Storm on the far turn. Unsullied's at the back with Cavensburg. 22.25, a quick opening quarter mile for Encryption Key, who leads at a half length. Tennessee second, Bourbon and Rye is third. Ready to Escape is going up there 4 wide, fourth by another 2. Legion Storm sticks to the rail, fifth by 3. And then it's Unsullied, and the trailer is Cavensburg, coming toward the top of the stretch. And Encryption Key turns for home in front. Ran a 45.25 half mile and comes into the stretch with a 2-length lead on Ready to Escape, who's trying to close from the outside. And then comes Tennessee in third. It is still Encryption Key holding this lead. Ready to Escape still coming, but Encryption Key's holding off Ready to Escape. Encryption Key at 16-1. Goes all the way, and Ready to Escape is second. Legion Storm in a photo with Unsullied for third.
Encryption Key, 3-year-old debut. Gets to the front, keeps on going.
Can we just have Groundhog Day from the last race?
Yeah, let me say a couple of things. And let's give him credit. Charlie thought maybe the horse would run better in the dirt. We don't know how good he is in the dirt, and he got it done here, obviously, and you want to give him credit for that. The 3 Tennessee broke ahead of the field, and Irad Ortiz decided to rate him. So maybe Irad hasn't been riding him. Oh, he's the leading rider. I'm sorry. So apparently he's not paying attention to the fact that the rail and speed have been dynamite for 4 weeks here. And Javier had a stranglehold before. And if you're Bourbon Rye broke slowly here. Broke by a length slow.
Right.
But he had a stranglehold on him like he wanted to be back in dead last. These guys are the leading riders here. Are they paying attention? Dylan Davis, he knew. He persevered.
What happened? Again. Jose Lozcano on wrong bend. What did I say last race? He got away with the second half in 23. What happened here? Dylan Davis got away, stole the race in 23. They came home in 13, 12, somewhere like that, but short story in the Cliff Notes, that's the 5th wire-to-wire winner. Someone start watching the replays.
1-5-6-2 finish, 16-1 on Encryption Key. Let's go back to the start. The 4, Bourbon and Rye, did not start the way we're used to seeing him start, or at least in the debut.
We should keep watching this. Look at the 3. He's
shut
cleared
the
by
door.
whatever he wants. What is he doing? doing? Okay, we bet at 3. Then the 4, the Javier. Okay, he broke a little slow, to be fair to Javier. But he's got a stranglehold on the 4. Like, I mean...
Shutting the door has ended. You know what? This whole world has gone soft.
It's not soft. Javier,
you break out in front like that, Andy.
Just go to the lead. I agree. Go to the lead.
And
you go to the lead. You got the advantage. And
exactly.
it's what's worked race after race. I mean, guys, I read he's a wonderful rider, as is Javier Castellani. No introduction. This is not good riding by these guys. This is not paying attention to the way the racetrack's been playing, and that's part of the game. Just riding the best horses all the time isn't enough. You've got to also do the extra bit that matters.
Dylan Davis, aggressive, gets to the front, and 16-1 gets the win. Charlie Baker thought this horse could run a little bit on dirt, and yes, he can, apparently, in the dirt debut. Even money favorite, defeated here in race 7. Back-to-back double-digit odds winners. Gonna play big here. And the Naira Bets late pick 5, and of course the late pick 4 as well. We're gonna take a break in the action. It was an astounding performance. Imperial Hint was sensational. And the Vanderbilt will preview his Vosburg coming up, and Robert Bruce, the Arlington Million winner, looking to go back-to-back and get a victory. And the Joe Hirsch this weekend. We'll talk about it next.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warthrop. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 mile at Keeneland, then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. His runners include stakes winner Stardoza, along with a growing list of talented young runners. At public auction, his yearlings have sold up to $200,000. Data Link, standing at Claiborne Park.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Long's got to turn to the length of the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
The dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Well, it was a bigger price, Charlie Baker horse here as Belmont Park Live rolls on an encryption key. He rolled from gate to wire. Charlie, you kind of hinted at the fact that you liked this horse, and he paid handsomely today.
Yeah, he was training beautiful. He trained beautiful last year. I tried him on the grass. I made a mistake. I tried him on the grass because I was training so good on the dirt. But because of the sire, we did the grass stuff. But he came back this year and he was doing great. So we loved him, but the other horse was doing beautiful too, great too. So I figured, it's going to be between both of them. Actually, I thought both of them was just equally as good. But I think the speed favor in the track, the way the track is, helped the one a lot today.
I was going to say, you're dead right about that. And good on Dylan. Didn't break super fast, but he made an aggressive move to secure that position.
Yeah, definitely. He worked him before, so he knows fast he can go when he get him in the bridle. So yeah, once he asked him and get him through, he got him in the bridle, and he was good from there.
And I mean, this is a horse that you're bringing back off of your 10.5-month layoff. You gelded him. What differences did you notice with him possibly from 2 to 3?
He trimmed out a lot. He looked a lot fitter. He just looked fitter all the way. He looked more like a greyhound, but he's not skinny, but he just looked great. So that was the difference between him and last year. Last year was a little on the thick side, chubby, but this year he just looked like a racehorse that might want to go maybe a little further too. Yeah.
I heard Dylan say having trouble pulling him up, too.
Definitely. He looks like a horse that will get a nice, good pace and just keep going. That's how he looks to me in the morning, too. So.
All right, Charlie. Well, congratulations securing the exacta here in race number 7. Job well done by you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Maggie.
All right. That Charlie Baker guy, he knows how to train here.
He is extremely sharp. We say his name a lot on our show. We have the last few years. Charlie Baker does exceptional work, and he completes the exacta here.
Yeah, congratulations to this son of Data Link. Give a shout out. Happy Face Racing Stable out of an old Trieste mare. There comes out all that dirt pedigree, trained by the great Mike Pipey and Cobra Farm. But there is Data Link, and where does he stand, Greg Wolf?
Claiborne Farm, son of Warfront, won the Makers 46-mile Grade 1, set a stakes record time in the Monmouth Stakes, and his 2018 stakes winners include War Giant, Spinning Top, and he's doing his thing on the farm.
Do you know what else? He's one of 7 or 8 horses that broke their maidens, which also includes Orb, on Cigar Mile Day and went on to win Grade 1s.
Really?
Yeah, it's an amazing stat. Quality Road's one of them, but Orb as well as Data Link.
You call quality over quantity. He only stands for 5,000. He's throwing out some good runners.
Naira Bet's late pick 5 follow along. He had a massive odds-on favorite kick things off. It will not matter.
Doesn't.
2 huge number of horses here coming up.
Let's see. So what do we think? 340, 500, big favorite, about 700. This race a little, so probably 2,000. If a goofy horse wins the last, could it possibly carry? I bet here's a question
Some short field.
I'll bet you there's at least one horse in the last race not covered.
Okay.
I will bet you a popsicle.
Popsicle?
Raspberry.
A raspberry.
Yeah, I like the blue raspberry.
8th race. We're on the turf for this one. It's a yielding turf course over the inner turf. Mile and 16th, allowance optional 80 field here. I thought everyone had a chance in this race. Night Prowler, though, 9-5 favorite right now, claimed off of Chad Brown.
Only one I didn't use in my now dead pick 4. That's always a good angle.
I'm with Andy. The only horse in here, to be honest,
he'll be the longest shot on the board.
If somebody asked me to go all but one in here, I would go all but Night Prowler. He's 0 for 8 the last 2 years. All these other horses like to win.
He's the biggest price by far in the doubles.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the master of when I go all but one, that's the one you use.
I did a pick 6 once. Cost myself like a $30,000 pick 6.
It's a tried and true handicapping angle. All right, we'll get more on this field coming up in just a moment. We're going to preview some of the big races here coming up this weekend. In the Vosburg, the question might not be who's going to win, but how many lengths Imperial Hink going to win by?
Yeah, listen.
That's a price. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this horse has turned into some kind of animal. And I think a lot of people forget the race at Parks, he set the track record in 107-2, and that was in September. Maybe that was when everybody finally realized, okay, he's the real deal in 107 and change. And then this effort in Vanderbilt. I get it. It's Warriors Club.
Well,
There's not much in here.
Switzerland, who finished back in the field, came back and won a grade stake over the weekend.
Yes, you're right.
And he's a dual grade stake winner.
But
compared to this field, this was a Breeders' Cup race.
No, but I want to go back to who he beat before. He beat Whitmore before. He got run down by Roy H. Listen.
He was second in the Breeders' Cup last year.
He was second in the Breeders' Cup. He's not throwing it in a bad race. I just don't. In some.
Only Greg Wolf thinks he can lose.
I don't think he can lose.
They can all lose. I don't know. I don't think he can lose on Saturday.
On paper, if he runs anywhere, if he doesn't get in serious trouble or something.
Yeah, honestly, he could run his B minus race. Do you think and still win?
Yes.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, sometimes it's okay to be a fan. I mean, as degenerate gamblers, and Paul and I, we've been known to like to gamble a little bit, but we're fans of the sport as well. And Imperial Hin is the kind of horse that you want to appreciate in the racetrack, and that's what it's about sometimes. I think we'll see that with Imperial Hin. A horse could well go on, win this race, and he could win the Breeders' Cup Sprint. No run happens this year.
Meanwhile, Grade 1, Joe Hirsch Turf Classic, Robert Bruce. He is the one to beat. His only blemish on his career in 9 starts. Troubled trip in the Grade 1 Manhattan. And he has won at 1.5 miles before in Chile in a Group 1.
He's the horse to beat, and I thought he ran very well in the Arlington Million. And he did, as you said, have a really troubled trip, like a number of horses did in the Manhattan. But having said that, this isn't a bunch of slouches. Track condition. Might be some rain overnight here, so the course will be on the good to yielding side. That could hurt these horses a little bit. I don't think it's going to hurt him.
Haven't we seen the same movie with all the rest of these horses? Spring Quality, I get it. He's a really nice horse. High Happy. He's a good horse. Sadler's Joy, I get it, Channel Maker.
Well,
but Robert Bruce has the most for me for improvement. You'll see Spring Quality does love this racetrack, though, Andy.
Yeah, well, he's a good horse, Spring Quality, and I also think he was compromised. And, you know, the Sword Dance was such a funny race where they just strung out and nobody closed. And actually, he's the one horse that made up ground, Spring Quality. We saw, as you say, at Belmont Park, that Spring Quality is good enough to be effective in this race, and I don't think he's impossible. You know I'm going to go back to Channel Maker because I don't think I've been wrong about him. He's run well in his recent races. High Happy, I think you have to wonder, is he tailing off a little bit, or will he be happy to get back to Belmont Park? But Sadler's Joy will be happy to get back to Belmont. We know he can run well, and he's won 3 times in a mile and a half. This race, there's a lot of horses go in here, including the 3-year-old Carrick, who does have to step it up, but he really improved at a 1.25 miles last time in the Secretariat, so he clearly feels like a horse that's going to get better with more distance. Now, he's got to obviously take a big step forward to beat these older horses, but how big a step forward? And maybe he really is coming into his own in these long-distance races.
No, you're right. I mean, I think he's a lightly raced horse. Like I said, he's gotten better as the distance is getting better.
Time of year when 3-year-olds start to really improve, too. I love the connections taking this shot.
Well, I think that Tom Morley is making the right decision, along with Donegal, whereas he could run in the $500,000 Grade 1 Hill Prince next week, but that's at 1 1/8 miles. His edge is distance, and that's what they're banking on here.
And depending on what happens this weekend, options for what's next for him as well. 2-year-olds going 1.16 miles in the Grade 3 Pilgrim. Rematch between Opry and Some Like It Hot Brown. Of course, Opry, that was the turf debut in the Grade 3 with Anticipation, and a win for trainer Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, this horse debuted in an off-the-turf event, and like we were talking about earlier, the son of Declaration of War, he graduated last time out with Anticipation, and he didn't have the best of starts. We'll show you the start. Focus on the 5. It's only a 6-horse field. It wasn't like the best group in the world, but he gets off to a slow start, sort of a stutter step. He's a little bit green. He sits way back there, but he just swallowed up his foes late.
What if he's more seasoned in this race and he doesn't break slowly and he doesn't lag behind him? He actually has some idea what he's doing. How the heck are they going to beat him? I mean, I don't want to say any horse can't lose. These are turf races, and they're young horses that could improve. And I thought Jeremiah Engelhardt is a horse towards the inside, 40 under, ran very well to break his maiden. But this horse, I mean, sometimes these kind of trips can be illusions. I didn't think this was an illusion at all, guys.
No, either did I. You know, when he hit him right-handed, wow, did he absolutely explode. And, you know, his dirt race was pretty good, too. And Cairo Cat came back to win. A couple other horses have come back to be okay. He's strictly the one to beat in there.
It'll be fun to see the progression of his career. Just his second try on the turf. And the rematch, of course, with Some Like It Hot Brown. As we look at the weekend stakes schedule, Saturday is going to be a lot of fun. Next 2 weekends will be, in fact, a lot on the line in terms of the Breeders' Cup with tickets being punched. But diversify the Jockey Club Gold Cup, Joe Hirsch Turf Classic with the Arlington Million winner. Vosburg with Imperial Hint in the Pilgrim all this Saturday. We're going to take a break. More coming up. We're on the turf in race 8 next. We'll talk about it when we return.
Eclipse champion Blaine is having a breakout year in 2018. Among the nation's leading sires of stakes horses, his recent top runners include Fault, Maraud, Marley's Freedom, Beyond Blame, and Miss Kentucky. He's also making a name for himself internationally with French Classic winner Singha. And with yearlings bringing up to $350,000, this 3-time Grade 1 winner offers outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
Dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
feature race time here on Belmont Park Live as the 4 horses are tacked and ready here in the paddock. Thus, we bring forth to you the Hillendale Paddock Report. And we'll start with the one coming back off of a layoff in number 1, March. He also returns as a new gelding. And really, when you geld a horse kind of over the age of 4 even, it really won't change them too much physically. And I don't see that much change with him here. But he does seem like a little bit more of a calm and more relaxed horse. So I like that for him. Has gotten a little bit on the warm side, and sometimes with layoffs, well, you have to proceed with caution when horses do appear that way. He looks fantastic, and Jonathan's horses do tend to look that way. Just a little concerned about the overall fitness with him, especially coming back on this course with moisture on it. And then we'll jump to a horse that likes it that way, and that's number 6, Profiteer. And he's kind of the typical runner that you look for when dealing with courses listed anywhere worse than good to yielding to soft. He's a lighter frame type, very kind of narrow and somewhat nimble on his feet. And Profiteer, honestly, though being that way, this is one of the better times I've seen him as far as his weight is concerned. So I think he does stand a viable chance here and might be in that stalking position. We'll see, though. Guys, who do you think will secure the early lead in this 4-horse field?
All right, guys. She asked. Time for you to put your money where your mouth is.
Don't worry, I've been doing plenty of that today. It is not working out very well, Greg.
Well, the favorite is the horse that you two do not like.
Well, let me just say once again, this horse will be the longest shot on the board by post time. I would bet $1,000 on that. Money I'll put right now. He'll be the longest shot on the board. But in fairness, he hasn't won in a long time, and with all due respect, I'm not taking horse's claim from Chad Brown. But this is a tricky race because at the end of the day, you don't know who's going to really like the turf condition. I mean, turf condition plays such a big role. I mean, we haven't had a firm turf since we've gotten back from Saratoga. And this horse is really yielding. I mean, we saw the time in the other mile race. They ran 139 after a fast pace. So part of it's going to be who likes the track and, of course, who doesn't.
I just can't get over he got run down to 45 cents in a dollar by Conquest Typhoon that day. I can't get over it.
It was a long time ago.
It was a year ago. Get over it, okay? You want a hug?
But exactly. He hasn't won in 2 years. How can he be 9-5?
Get signed up, get started, and you can
bet
against this horse if you like.
They're signing up right now.
Belmont Live, yeah, they're throwing some wagers down. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Again, that promo code Belmont Live. So here is March. Trainer Jonathan Thomas, Javier Castellano, a multiple graded stakes winner on dirt.
You know, he hasn't run in over 6 months. He won off a layoff, off of almost a year layoff, so we know he can run well fresh. For a trainer who seems to do everything right, he obviously is one of the players in here.
Black type at 2-1 here. Christophe Clement, Joel Rosario, 5-time winner on this turf course.
Interesting conundrum. He is the controlling speed by far, yet Christophe Clement has said, and it seems like he's correct, that he's better with a target.
Night Prowler. He's still currently your favorite, just claimed by Dermot Magner.
Ultimate longest shot on the board, off the claim from a former assistant Chad Brown, claiming from the ex-boss.
What about that, huh? And Profiteer, he's 2 for 3 on the Belmont turf. He's faced some very good runners who've hit the board against Grade 1 company recently.
You know, he tried to wire a field, actually, in the Twilight Derby in Santa Anita. Then they stuck blinkers on him, and he's learned to relax a tiny bit, but he could be forwardly placed, I guess, from the outside with Jose aboard.
5-2. Everybody in this field, 9-5 or 5-2 separates the 4 of them. That's the biggest price you're going to get here in this 8th race. Going to be fascinating to see how the pace plays out early. It might be a very slow European field of this race.
Very Euro field. I agree that the board figured to be fairly even.
We're going to take a break. 8th coming up. We're approaching the 6-minute mark to post. Stay with us.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief, laboring veteran fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Good to have you with us. Our feature race here coming up. Greg Wolf, Paula Duca, Andy Serling, and Maggie Wolfendahl. Little moonwalk there from March.
He's multi-talented.
That was impressive from this Jonathan Thomas trainee here. Again, as Andy mentioned, been off since March. Multiple graded stakes winner on Dirty. Won the Woody Stevens. He won the Bayshore. He was a shorter price, about half the price of Run Happy in the King's Bishop. Of course, Run Happy would beat him that day. But here is a look back to 2017.
And I think what's so important about this race is that it was coming off of over an 11-month layoff. So it shows that he can actually run effectively off of layoffs. And he's coming off a 6+ month layoff today. So we know he can run well fresh. On the other hand, he's a horse that he's just continually has these long layoffs. And at some point, I don't care who the trainer is, and Jonathan Thomas obviously does a fantastic job. These horses, they're going to just sort of lose a step. But maybe the soft turf, you know, that'll be a mitigating factor as well. He can win. Everyone in this race can win.
Including Black Type, who we don't know what's going to happen here. He should be easily the controlling speed, but as you brought up, Andy, you hear from Christophe Clement, he likes a target. So
yeah,
what do you do?
11, that's my question, and I'm going to ask Paul this question. I mean, I would go to the front, because I always want to go to the front. But I think, you know, Christophe is not, we've talked about this in the past, and I think he's been proven to be right about this. If you look at him, he's a horse that's just more comfortable rating off of horses. But what would you do in this sod, Paul?
It's a good question. In the Fort Marcy, he went 114, had everything his own way, and he collapsed. I couldn't
collapsed.
believe it.
I mean, one thing if he runs second or third to Robert Bruce, but he just stopped.
And I think that race he points to, but I think the faster he goes, the better. Now, I don't know how fast you want to go on this turf course today. Yeah, that's a tough question to answer because I just don't see anybody else. Maybe March is going to be a lot sharper with being gelded.
If he doesn't go, then I think Profiteer finds himself in the lead. And then I think he's seeing an advantage to a horse who may be the horse he has to beat.
Now with more on Black Type, let's go to Maggie.
And guys, I actually got to catch up with Christophe Clement, and he asked me about the pace, and I said, well, don't you think you're on the front end? He said, yes, absolutely. And he does feel as though his horse will be on the front end. And you guys brought up the race that he was leading. That race was won by Robert Bruce, and Spring Quality was second. So I'm willing to forgive him. He's not facing the likes of Grade 1 winners here today. So if he wants to go out there and set the pace against 3 other rivals, be my guest. He'll probably be able to get the job done if he does that. But I do feel as though watching these warm-ups that Jose Ortiz, he might keep him company up towards the front end with number 6, Profiteer. Love the way this horse warmed up, moving beautifully here for Shug. And Shug, of course, after I got off air there, he said, you know why he's lighter frames? Because he's a bit of a stall walker. So that means it's a horse that kind of gets a little bit nervous when in their stall. So he does a little bit more exercise than what Shug would actually like him to do. But I just think this horse is doing very well. I think he can be tactical enough to not let a pace setter get away from him. And I'm just going to take Profiteer, too, based upon his softer turf form here, Greg.
Well, he's shown that he likes the Belmont turf as well. He's faced Kurilov, horse who was second of the Grade 1 Belmont Derby. Highland Sky was in that race, who this horse beat a couple starts back.
Yeah, I also agree with what Maggie, the point that she's making tactically. Okay, Black Type is the controlling speed. Profiteer's not letting him get far away. So I don't really think he's going to lose this race necessarily because he was compromised by pace. He's a funny horse because you look at him and you say, what is his best distance? But I'm thinking like Shug is, that maybe going shorter is better. Even though he ran well at 1.25 miles dead heat with Kurilov, and Highland Sky, who's very good, was in there, though he had a bit of a trip that day. I think he might be a little bit better shorter. I guess that's what Shug is banking on here as well.
Does the 5 got any speed? Horse did go 109 at Belmont when he was 45 cents a dollar. He got beat by Conquest Typhoon.
He's the longest shot on the board right now. I don't know.
At 5
I really went on a limb there.
By about...
It'll be bigger.
A couple $1,000, not even.
Bet you another
$1,700.
I'll bet you another popsicle that he's over 3 to 1.
Here is March. So we haven't. You said it's been that long of a layup. What, 6 months here? I'm like, what are you talking about? He just ran in March. That's when he's been off since March. I'm like, wow, we've really rolled along this year.
It's been a long summer.
But as you, yeah, it has. As you brought up, he's been sharp off the bench before. The favorite, though, To the outside, Profiteer for Shug McGahee. Looking to run his record here at Belmont to 3 for 4 on the turf. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing, Larry Colmus.
They're all in line. They're off, and the 4 of them away to an even beginning. It will be Black Type, Night Prowler, and Profiteer to go out there ahead of March, who will sit last early on, moving around that first turn. The leader is Black Type, but just narrowly, only a half-length advantage over Profiteer to the backstretch. Night Prowler is running along in third, 2.5 lengths off of them, and March trails the field. So onto the backstretch they go. And Black Type has been joined by Profiteer, and the 2 of them will run by the opening quarter mile in 24.2 seconds, clear 2.5 lengths from Night Prowler in third, who's just ahead of March. March is now 4 lengths behind, and a bit of daylight for Joel Rosario and Black Type up front. They now lead 1.5 lengths. Profiteer and Jose Ortiz still right there in second by 2. Night Prowler is third, and still March last. So it's been Black Type so far. 47.91 was that half mile, and he heads into the far turn in front and taken on once again by Profiteer, who cuts the gap to 3/4 length. Night Prowler is still 2 lengths off of them, running in third, and now getting his cue from John Velasquez to come and get these top 2. And at the back of the pack, Javier Castellano is wanting more from March as well. 3/4 in 111.17, and they're coming to the top of the stretch, and it is Black Type on the inside, Profiteer still trying to get by, and also on the outside, Night Prowler is putting in a bid too. So they come past the 8th pole, and Black Type is still there. Night Prowler is now taken second on the outside. Profiteer is third. March 4th. They're coming down to the line. It's Black Type and Night Prowler. It's Black Type, 3/4 length on top. Night Prowler was second, and Profiteer was third.
Black Type maintains that short advantage throughout and then gets the job done here in the front end. Christophe Camacho, El Rosario, Jump Sucker Stable.
Yeah, I gotta say something. A mile and 16th, they got him going 142. The turf got awfully firm awfully quickly, or that time is a little too quick. Right? That's a little weird, right?
They ran a fast quarter, middle quarter there, Black Type, and he had a little bit of pressure. I can give Night Prowler a little bit of credit here to run a good second.
Not a yielding course. They went 42 flat.
Yeah, they ran pretty fast. You're right. March just was not liking the course at all.
Either this time is inaccurate or this course is firmed up awfully quickly.
I'd say the latter.
Well, you know, I will say it's not like they were kicking up a lot. I mean, if we take a look at it again, it's not like they would seem to be kicking up a lot of clods. I mean, a little bit, but not ripping it to shreds. I mean, they went 139 on the Widener for a mile. They went 135 at 2 here. Odd.
Black Type wins for the 11th time in his career here. 6 for 14 now at Belmont. And sometimes race shape just works out for you as well, and it worked out to his benefit.
Yeah, but you know what? He was best. No excuse for Profiteer, who I picked in this race. He was stalking him, and he just had no answer whatsoever.
No, he did.
He had the run of the race, but it's not like he was absolutely walking. He was best.
He tried to kick in when Night Prowler came to his outside, but Night Prowler was able to make a couple different moves. I thought he ran well to run second, but yeah, you're right. The advantage and a little bit of class in Black Type's corner got the job done.
I think he knows what's next, too. He's pulling Joel Rosario along. He said, it's picture time. Let's go to the winner's circle. You know, he's been there plenty of times before, 11th time in his career. We'll be back with prices set up the nightcap when we come back.
Once again, among the world's leading sires of stakes horses and graded stakes horses, Warfront has sired 8 champions and 8 millionaires. Recent Grade 1 winners include European champion U.S. Navy Flag and Lancaster Bomber, plus an ever-growing list of 2018 graded stakes winners. In the sales ring, his yearlings continue to bring prices well over $1 million. International Super Sire Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live. Well, Black Type strode right from the gate into the winner's circle, and I'm joined here by his trainer, Christophe Clement. And Christophe, you had mentioned to me in the paddock you thought you'd be on the front end, and pretty nice ride by Joel Rosario.
Very much so. I mean, the instruction were, as long as he's comfortable, he could be on the lead, if not take back, but it worked out, and it's nice. He's a fun horse, he's 7 years old. He tries very hard. He's won quite a few at Belmont, so he's been fun.
And Christophe, a horse that has kind of dabbled in graded stakes, and you just seemed as though you found his kind of level and what he likes to do this year.
Correct. It's just, it's all a question of level and competition. He's good enough to be competitive in a graded stakes, especially on softer turf. I mean, he's still in a Knickerbocker, which is like next weekend. We could have a look at it. It's very ambitious and very quick, but why not,
I like it. Probably will be a softer turf course here, but hoping that we'll see what we get in France come October 7th. But you're helping us out. You're making your kind of co-host debut to cover the Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah, why not? It's a fun race. I'm glad to be part of it. It's actually a great race. It's probably the leading race in France. Might be the best race for all the horses in Europe. And this year turned out to be very competitive as ever. So no, it's a fun race.
Christophe, you're being very modest about your home country's race. It's probably one of the best races in the world year in and year out.
Yeah, I don't like to compare different things in different places, but over there it is the best race. And it's a fun race for me. My brother won it when I was like 23 or 24 years old, and it's a great race.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to hosting, being a co-host on the show with you as well. But congrats here with Black Type.
Thank you so much.
All right, native Frenchman wins with the French horse as well, Craig.
Yeah, it's going to be great to have Christophe part of that broadcast for the Arc de Triomphe. Black Type getting that barn a win here for Jump Sucker Stable. 7-year-old still going strong.
Yeah, congratulations to the son of Dunkirk, the other Dunkirk, and the Naba mare, Theory. And you're right, Jump Sucker Stable now 6 for 14 lifetime, 11 for 35, lifetime, 6 for 14 lifetime on this turf course.
And the 3, and I want to say at least the 3 not covered in the pick 5.
Crazy.
Naira Bet's late pick 5 follow along, just 46,964 in the pool. Odds on favorite that everybody had. Maybe a lot of people singled to start it off. Then, wow, 28-20, 34-80. A horse that maybe you thought was going to be alone on the lead. Go gate to wire, Black Type. What happens in the last Will We Have Chaos? This Naira Bet's late pick 5. We talk about it all the time. Incredible value, must play, and in final chances really to play it through the end of the year here coming up. We'll take a look at the Will Pays momentarily as we take a look at the field for this finale coming up. Taking off the turf, New York bred, $40,000 maiden claiming event at a mile. Lowest payoff in this Naira Bet's late pick 5, $7,900.
And 3 and 9 not covered.
Here's the crazy
And the 3
part.
can win.
$7,900. Now the pick 4s, the best you could do is the lowest you can do is 2,000.
First winner.
The sequence started with a 3 to
2 to
5
5
shot.
2 to 5.
2 to 5. 2 to 5 shot. That's all you need to know. That's ridiculous.
Paddock Report, post parade coming up. Our show brought to you each and every day in part by the champion sprinter Run Happy, who March faced in the King's Bishop a few years back. We're going to see his offspring coming to a racetrack near you, not in the too distant future here, as we see him on the farm in Paris, Kentucky. Boy, was he special as a sprinter. Undefeated sprinting in his career. Perfect 7 for 7, all while running without the addition of Lasix medication. We'll be back. Belmont Park Live continues next.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
Dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NyraBets.com.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Immediately following us, Stephen Colbert in The Late Show. Oh, wait, that's a different network. I didn't even make it to the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Never have.
Really? Very close to where I live, Greg.
Greg Wolf.
We got our
I saw
nightcap
the
still
Beatles
to
there.
come. We look forward to that in just a little bit. New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. Joe Applebaum, he's the president of that association. They represent the interests of owners and trainers on the New York circuit. He's also the founder of Off the Hook, a racing, breeding, and sales company. He shares where his love of racing and horses began.
Well, I was probably a teenager, and I went to a summer camp about a half hour north of here, and I had some older friends who would come down here on their day off, or maybe even sneak out at lunch hour, and I used to hang around with them. So I started coming here and was attracted to the kind of pageantry and excitement and action of the place. And my wife calls me an urban cowboy. No horse background, never rode, but was attracted to the speed and the passion and the excitement of it all. I think it was 2001. I was up here for the weekend. It was Travers weekend, and there was a pick six carryover. And me and 5 friends decided to play. There was about a $200,000 pick six carryover. And we decided to play, and Dr. Kashnikow kind of split horses in the 4-star Dave and got home, and we won the pick six. It was about $109,000 total. And me and 2 of the guys who hit it with me took our proceeds and later that year claimed a horse. And we were off and running. It was an amazing case of beginner's luck. The first horse we claimed for $50,000. We ran him back 2.5, 3 weeks later. Someone took him from us for $75,000. It was like shocking. And we had a series of kind of good fortune events. We just kind of lucked into it. And then several years later, I had 2 farms, 100 horses on the farm, and then the financial crisis hit, which was extremely difficult. And a few years later, kind of came out on the right side of it, that we have we're still going almost over 15 years later. Off the Hook, our specialty is developing young horses until they're 2, We've developed champions like Informed Decision, who won the Breeders' Cup Filly Sprint and was an Eclipse Award winner. Other Grade 1 winners like El Deal. We raced a Grade 1 winner. We won the United Nations, which was always a fun race for me to go down to the shore. But we try to take an extremely analytical approach to our wagering, recognizing that there's thousands of races a year, and we don't need to get caught up into any single race. And we want to use a kind of a rigorous method in figuring out who we're betting on and how much we're betting on. And the day, it might be a little less colorful and a little less romantic than the days of me, you know, hanging out by the paddock trying to see which horses I thought are good, but it's a lot more sustainable. But I think there's an intertwined process here that's just very interesting. You have an agrarian culture, right? It's farming and horses and livestock and feed. You have high stakes wagering and money on the line and the pressure of that. You have this massive facility with all sorts of people from, you know, in their t-shirts and shorts to dressed up in suits. And you really find stuff here that you just don't find a lot of other places. So I'm in love with the whole scene. I love to just soak in the culture and the smells and the sights, and it's great.
Now his love of this sport really comes through in that piece. Joe Applebaum, of course, the president of the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, representing owners and trainers here on the New York Racing Association circuit. But his Off the Hook has helped develop a lot of talented runners.
No question about it. Joe is, he knows racing from top to bottom, and it's tough for Nathan to have found somebody to replace Rick Violet after the incredible job he did for so many years. But they've got themselves one heck of a replacement in Joe.
This finale coming up here, taking off the turf, New York bred 40 maiden claiming event, Spa Jazz right now. Favored at 5-2, right at his morning line for trainer Barkley Tagg. Has only tried the dirt once. That was the debut a year ago to the day.
Yeah, and you got to dismiss it because Barkley really doesn't get his horses. Well, I mean, he doesn't get them cranked up, but the horse was not good at all. Did not run a step.
He was facing a Breeders' Cup field relative to his facing here.
Oh, well,
Audible was third in there.
Third,
I think he ran the Derby, right? And Smoking Platinum was a killer.
Yeah.
I know he didn't run really well in there, but in relative terms, I mean, this horse isn't taking a jump. He's diving off of the Empire State Building.
No, he really is. I mean, this is the first time he's going to drop in class on dirt. So
I mean, look at him compared to the horses like the co-favorites, horses like the 2 and 10. To me, he's much more likely to win than they are.
Paddock report time. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing curling for $150,000.
And look, guys, I am not saying that Spa Jazz can't win here. He's much the horse to beat. But I will check in with the other two co-favorites at the moment, beginning with number 2. No worries, mate. A son of Lonhro. And actually, on the dam side, the dam was a bit better going longer on the dirt as well. And some of the siblings were okay sprinting on it. So he's not a horse that looks like overly turfy. And I'm okay with him getting a little more ground. He's really laid back here in the paddock. And we'll see. I mean, the blinkers do go on. Will they try to be aggressive from that inside post position on a horse who, well, hasn't had that much speed, but then again, is stretching out. And then number 10 is Shuffling Madness. At least he does have the dirt races to go on. They haven't been that good, I'll give him that, but he is going second time out here for Bruce Brown, and he does look very good. In relative terms, I mean, you look at this field physically, and those are the 3 horses you want, the 2, 7, and 10 here. So he's another horse, and I'm not saying anything very profound here, Greg, but these are the 3 that you want.
All right, Maggie, thanks. 5-2 favoritism, a horse whose only dirt start. Beat one horse, was beat 20.5 lengths. Yes, massive drop in class. But could someone who maybe showed a little hint of more ability on the dirt
36
step
buyers.
up and beat him?
36 buyers, almost competitive here.
Shuffling Madness coming off a 36 buyer, the 10 horse.
He was awful last time. I mean, what was his excuse? He was buried by the number 5 Martini Lane. Buried by that horse. That horse didn't even break that sharply. I guess he could win, but his last was bad.
You get the feeling if it's not the 7 in here,
it's the 2 or the 10.
So you think it's just 3 horses?
I do, because the 10 has speed. I mean, the 10 didn't break great last time out. The 2's putting blinkers on. I'm going to try the dirt for the first time, and got bet first time at Belmont, so obviously he's worked well over this racetrack. Listen, these aren't killers in here.
For the finale tonight at Belmont here, bet a $25 win bet on Naira Bet. You earn $5 back if your ticket loses. That's $5 back if your horse doesn't finish first. Go to NairaBets.com or the NairaBets app to place your bet for the Belmont Nightcap bonus. This is the bet I should play. The way I've been going today. I'll get my $5 back. Here's the one. This is neutral zone at 10-1 for Mitchell Friedman with Sam Jimenez.
He's coming off a 49-length drubbing in his last start. Has not shown anything in 2 starts in the dirt.
5-2 favorite right now in the rail for No Worries Mate. Blinkers on, first time on dirt.
Yeah, look for speed from this son of Lonro. This horse has faced at least full fields, and the blinkers go on today, so I would think they're going to push.
Scrutinized 26-1 for Edmund Pringle.
I think this horse is actually a live long shot and not impossible in here. He's got 1 race, albeit in a sloppy sealed track, that's fast enough to make him a player. This is that kind of field.
Decadence at 24-1 start number 3. Actually debuted on dirt, didn't show a lot.
Yeah, and Chance Boulanger's aboard. We've seen him with his second mount today. He's been known to bring in a long shot here and there, but I don't know about this one. It was 107-1 last time out.
Martini Lane, race taken off the turf for the only start and hit the board in an 8-horse field.
Listen, I mean, it's low-profile connections, owner, trainer, breeder, but this horse ran well enough in his debut that he has to be considered a player.
Straight out of Congton, son of Congaree, who makes his dirt debut. For Abigail Adsit.
Yeah, 73-1, 2 back, and ran a good third, but that was on the turf.
Spa Jazz, back to favoritism here for Barclay Tag with Dylan Davis.
The best horse in the race in his 1 dirt race was not a good effort, but was against way, way better than these horses.
Man of Chrome, at least he's trying something different. Blinkers coming off, but the starts that he has shown, this is career start number 10, it's hard to endorse.
Yeah, I don't know what to see in this horse. He's done no running on in his dirt races.
Shuffling
What
Madness.
86 lengths he's gotten beat by his last 2?
He got a 3-buyer last time.
Shuffling Madness at 7-2. David Cohen, Bruce Brown.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't break that well last time out. I think they were claiming him to try to get him on the turf, and what happens today, off the turf again, but he does draw a paceless field. He should clear the outside horses.
That's your field. Our finale coming up here, and whatever happens in this final race of the afternoon, that's going to be a nice payoff in this Naira Bets late pick 5. We'll be back. See how this 9th and final plays out here on this Thursday afternoon. Stick with us.
Turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in 5th. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The 3 of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
How do New York breds perform? They win in world-class company. From Grade 1 races in Dubai, where New York sired New York bred Mind Your Biscuits won the Golden Shaheen for a second time, to Belmont adding to his status as the richest New York bred with a close second in the Met Mile. The Belmont Festival saw 2 more New York breds become millionaires, 4-star Crook in the New York Stakes, and world record-setter Disco Partner with a repeat victory in the Jaipur. New York breds, get with the program.
Back on Belmont Park Live. That's a nice shot. That's what we're going to look later tonight once we pack things up. We tuck in for the evening. Here's a look at the 5, Martini Lane.
He seems
4
like
to 1.
a sunset kind of guy. Say,
I do?
yeah.
Yeah, I love the sun.
Yeah. Long walks.
$200 new member bonus. Get signed up and started. I don't know what we're talking about right now. Promo code Belmont Live and use Naira Bets to bet any track, anywhere, and anytime with you on your mobile device. This horse could win, right? 4 to 1 on the 5 here, Martini Lane.
Why not?
Absolutely.
I mean, with the racetrack's not playing towards his running style, but we don't know if he's a deep closer like he did last time. He might have just took a little bit to get into stride. He might show a little bit more speed, but he ran
Who
comparable.
is the speed here?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I
think the 2's going to try to go.
Yeah.
With
I
the
think
blinkers
you're right.
on. The 7, I would think, would try to go, and then the 10 on the drop if he can break.
It's not exactly a field that on paper inspires a lot of confidence in any speed horses.
That is true.
It's going to go to whoever wants to lead the most.
I mean, the 9 in here, Mana Chrome, is 30 to 1. He has never been close to 30 to 1.
Not covered the Naira Bets late pick 5.
He was 75 to 1, 144 to 1, 127 to 1 the last 3 starts, but
49 to 1.
Put a 3 furlong speed drill into him last time out. Will that do anything to him? Then we're taking a look at the 10, though. Shuffling Madness. Second off the claim for Bruce Brown.
I want to ask Andy this, Dirt, his first race on the sloppy racetrack, does that win this race against Desert Lights?
Probably. It depends really what Spa Jazz does, but yeah, the problem is his last race off the claim. He was pitiful. In that race.
He was bad.
Pitiful.
He was bad. He was very bad. I mean, like, you look at the odd, like,
Not that he can't win here.
Greg was just reading the odds. Like, the 3 scrutinized, and here's 28 to 1, has been 94, 95, 82, 111 to 1 in the last 4 starts. The 4 was 107 to 1. You know, the 5 was 38 to 1 last time out and ran a bang-up third. It's 9 to 2 today. You know, you look at the 6, 73 to 1, 2 back, and now today is 13 to 1.
What about, so we're taking a look at the 2. We've talked about Manny.
What is it to like about this horse, by the way?
Well, how about this?
He sends the lead with the blinkers.
I guess so.
He's inside. He's making an equipment change, blinkers on. We've never seen him on dirt. He's done nothing wrong on this surface.
He's been terrible on the turf, and he's bred for the turf, and that's supposed to be the better surface for him. And he really has never run a step in his career. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't wire the field. I'm not going to tell you any horse in here you want to bet. And you're right, he could wire the field, but my gosh, I mean, he's never run well on one surface. At least the number 7 horse in this race, Spa Jazz, has run well on the turf, or well enough. And the 1 dirt race was against a super, super, super strong field. Not saying he has to win, but I mean, if no worries made is 3 to 1, don't you feel like you could just bet anyone in this race?
Gronkowski liked this surface, same sire.
This race, I like.
Wow, there's an angle for you.
There's an angle. What do you think they're going to run this mile in?
Ooh, I like that.
And it's a fast racetrack.
It is very quick. It's quick. Okay, I'm going to make an over.
I'm going to go 137.
Oh, I'm going to take the over.
Ooh, I would take over
I'm going to take the over for $1 million.
Ooh. I don't know.
I was going to go
quick,
138 and 4 is the over-under. What do you think the buyer is going to be for this race? You're going to believe it's going to be higher or less, more or less than 41.
50 wins it, yeah.
50 wins it?
Yeah.
50 will make it look like Secretariat. They may be looking at that Secretariat poll for the second horse.
Maggie, Andy, both going with the 7. The public agrees as well. Paul LaDuca with a 10. I'm with Paul. I think it's Shuffling Madness. But would you guys be shocked? We're talking about this race where there's no form. There's very little form. Would any horse in here shock you?
No. Well, let's be honest now. Okay, the 3.
I think the 3 has a chance. So we're his dirt races. At least he lifted a hoof in his dirt races.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. The 9.
The 9 would be a.
I mean, that horse lost by a combined over 300 lengths in his career.
Well, let me just tell you this. I know we're looking at the 3 here, so Andy thinks this 3 has a shot. Quickly, tell us why you like the 3 again.
Well, he's got his dirt races. He's got figures in the high 20s, and he ran 145 buyer. I mean, at least he showed he could lift. I don't love him. I just think he, in a long shot, could get a piece of the super.
Now, Mana Chrome, the 9, at least on
funny name.
Not a lot of those races, but at least one of those turf races, he showed a hint of life. He does make a change in here, which
Let's just let him stay in this island.
No, the only other horse making a change here, equipment-wise, is the 2 here, and they put a 3 furlong drill into him, and at least he showed a hint of something that they're trying to do something different with him. Maybe.
They are.
At least maybe put him on the lead.
Okay.
If he gets to the front in here, maybe nobody runs him down.
There's always the birthday party
Greg Wolf,
circuit.
I love you. You're one of my best friends.
I'm not saying I
Hold
like
on.
him.
His August 23rd race, the last time he had blinkers off and he sprinted, he was 12th by 20 in the first call.
Yeah.
And you think he might get the lead here?
Well, you don't think that 3 furlong drill with the equipment change, a little sneaky?
You handle this, Paul, okay?
I don't think it's very sneaky.
Okay. Not sneaky, but a chance that they're trying to do something different.
Think it's sneaky? You're the one who used the word
By
sneaky.
that, here's what I meant. That they're trying to put this horse potentially in front.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
That's what I
they
mean.
would love for this
Bad
horse
word
to,
choice.
How about this? They would love for this horse to see 3rd or 4th. This horse hasn't even seen 3rd or 4th in any of his races.
None of these horses have.
At any of his calls.
There's no one in this field who has.
That's actually a good point. Who has seen the lead in this group? You're right. Not one horse has been in front of any group.
Yeah.
In this race. That's crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Even money. No one should be even money in this group. The 7 is even
money?
Money.
Wow.
In our finale here. Can Spa Jazz close it out if that is the case? And you're alive in the Naira Bets Late Pick 5. What'd we say?
What?
7,000 and change?
That's the 10. It's 9,900 with the 7.
Okay.
And now even money. 7.
Well, let's send it upstairs. Here's Larry Colmus, our finale from Belmont Park.
Last couple of runners to move into the starting gate here will be Martini Lane and Shuffling Madness. Martini Lane coming up to the starting gate now. And Shuffling Madness will take the outside stall under David Cohen. And they're all in line. They're off. Spa Jazz came out running, but now rushing through his No Worries Mate on the inside. And these two will be joined up front by Neutral Zone and Straight Outta Compton. Shuffling Madness is in the mix on the far outside, too, as they head up the backstretch. 3 to Martini Lane. And then it's Man of Chrome on the outside, Scrutinize, and Decadence is the trailer. The opening quarter mile in 22.75 seconds. A very fast pace here, with Shuffling Madness on the outside, Straight Outta Compton between, and Neutral Zone trying to keep the rail. Spa Jazz is outside of them, running in 4th by 2. And then comes No Worries Mate in 5th, racing for the far turn. Martini Lane, Scrutinize on the inside next. And then comes Man of Chrome, and far behind is Decadence. 46 flat, just blazing along here for this group as they make their way around the far turn. Shuffling Madness secures the rails. Spa Jazz is up alongside. No Worries Mate is outside of them. Straight Outta Compton is 4th. Scrutinize is up running in 5th, 5 lengths off the lead. And they're being followed by Martini Lane and Decadence. And on the inside is Neutral Zone. They're coming to the top of the stretch. Spa Jazz is taken over. 3/4, 111.72. Spa Jazz to the front. Pulling away to lead by 2. Shuffling Madness back into 2nd on the inside. No Worries Mate 3rd. Scrutinize trying to put in a bid on the outside. But it is Spa Jazz who's got a 6-length lead at the 16th pole. Spa Jazz and Dylan Davis are going to do it here. And Scrutinize will be 2nd. 4 lengths beaten on the wire. They're followed in 3rd by Shuffling Madness and then Martini Lane.
Spa Jazz Barkley tag, even money, I guess, was justified here.
And how about the 3? Wins
34 to 1 underneath.
Crush the exacta.
7-3, 10-5. Not mistaken. The 5 really flew home late.
I almost
by the
had
way.
the super cold here, Paul. I want a little love
You
here.
had
What was
7,
the final
3,
time,
5,
by the way?
10.
By the way, Paul.
Wait a second. Hold on.
Actually, fast final
138 in 2. Yeah. So
good enough for about a 43 buyer.
I tell you what, Winston K. He really bides his time, and he sits okay on a horse that can come from off the pace. If you're looking for a long shot rider, I like the way he rides because he's sort of just
sitting well on a horse.
Yeah, you know what I do
like Andy
though?
Serling,
He's patient. He didn't try to rush the 3 at all. Spa Jazz. I mean, when the 7 broke on top, I said the race is over because you just knew that Dylan could do whatever he wanted to do. Scrutinize ran a nice 2nd here.
close it. No one else, I mean, that was a big-time close. No one else was making up any ground here. 7-3, 10-5, 34-1 shot there in second. But Spa Jazz, your even money favorite. Barkley Tag and Sakatoga Stable guys get a win.
There you go.
Funny side connections, won the Kentucky Derby.
You know, Barkley Tag has had a terrific year. I mean, his horses have been running very, very well, especially since we got back to New York and Belmont. And obviously, he was just much better than a weak field. You take what you can get. But Barkley really, it's funny how when Barkley won with Funny Side, people were saying, well, who's this Barkley Tag guy? He's a pretty good trainer. But anyone around the racetrack knew for 20 years the guy was one of the better trainers in the game.
There's Barkley Tag. Winner Circle picture time here in the nightcap on this Thursday afternoon. Spa Jazz, Sakatoga Stable. Dylan Davis getting the job done. Dylan with a couple of victories on our show. We are going to take a break. We'll be back to wrap up the card right after this. Stay tuned.
Graded Stakes winning millionaire defeated 20 Grade 1 winners. In the Dixie Stakes, he defeated Canadian champion and Horse of the Year Up with the Birds and set a new course record at Saratoga. Now the excitement is building as his first foals have arrived this year. Half to 4 Graded Stakes winners, Ironicus has the speed, class, and bloodlines to become the next great sire by Distorted Humor. Ironicus standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live here, and we'll cap things off with an even money favorite. Getting to the winner's circle, Spa Jazz, trained by Barkley Tag. And Barkley, he's just kind of another winner that is capping off what has been quite an incredible summer for you.
Yeah, well, we've been dropping them, so.
That always helps. Best hop is a drop oftentimes, but this guy, he was just much the best.
He was. It looked that way. I mean, we thought he looked good to begin with, but you never know. You never know. But the fractions were really fast, and he stayed right up there and did his job. So we were very pleased.
And hoping one does their job on Saturday as well, the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. Bit of a shot here with Highland Sky, but he's a horse that at his least kind of has that form that would suggest that a mile and a half shouldn't be too much of a problem for him.
Yeah, he loves the distance. He loves the distance and all that. It's just, he's gone through a couple of periods there where it's just, we weren't running him in the right places, I didn't think. You never know. But he's doing real good right now. We just have to see. He's not real good on soft turf, and I think we're going to get soft turf. It's calling for more rain, so I'm a little guarded about that, but we'll see.
Well, you might not be the only one that has some problems with soft turf as well, but Barkley, best of luck with him this Saturday, and congrats here. Keep things rolling.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, Barkley, he doesn't age a day, especially when he's winning races.
Can I make a bold claim?
Yes.
I think this might be, if not the greatest, certainly one of the greatest return to the Naira Bets Late Pick 5 that we've ever had. We had a 2-to-5 favorite,
okay, so
even money favorite.
So we had $6.
8-to-5 favorite in a 4-horse field.
No, 2-to-1. 2-to-1.
Okay, 2-to-1 favorite.
The winner was 2-to-1.
Horse field.
No, I'm doing the math.
$9,900.
$20, $340, and then we had another horse paid roughly $30, $340. So we got about $5,000 for $2. Right, we paid $40,000 for $2. Yeah. You're right. They paid 7 times the parlay.
Been less for you to all the horses.
Wow. And
why didn't we hit it, Greg?
We should have all had this.
We should have.
I liked Encryption
I couldn't
Key.
possibly have hit it, but you should have had it.
Yeah, I didn't like Wrong Ben. Mark Hennick gets the win. Well, back tomorrow, or back at the same time tomorrow. You okay? You're going to have to regroup after
that close-up.
You're very quiet right now. Was this one you should have had? Paul LaDuca is speechless right now.
I am speechless.
All right, we'll just pack it in for the night.
Embarrassed
Paul's
by your
done for the night.
I think it's
We're going to see him tomorrow. We're going to let him get some rest, get over this afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. Black Type getting the win in the 8th. Rosario, Clement. Any day can be your day. Another chance to hit that NyraBets Late Pick 5 on Friday. We will see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a great night.